Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today we are interviewing Matt Anderson from Maffeys Garden. Boom! And we're going to kick off the show with a track of his called Locked Out. Get ready to rock, folks. Let's do it right now.
Hello? Anyone home? Vaccines, trampolines, everything you've ever seen. Coffee shops and restaurants. Hope you like it, take it away. Bones, cars, rebel sport. It's okay, you can stay. Can we go out today? We're locked down, ready or not. We're locked down, guess what's up? We're locked down, tickety top. We're locked down, you're not getting up. Just regret, home's in debt. Haven't cleaned my kitchen yet. Borders closed, streets deployed. Phone aside, store to door. Kids are scared, no one cares. Go back in and wash your hands. Can I check your papers, please? We're locked down, losing control. We're locked down. Don't tell me I'm slow. We're locked down, ready to blow. We're locked down. I've seen this show. Locked down, locked down, locked down. Grocery stores, pharmacies, heavy metal, paranoid, schools and home, food delivered, haven't touched another human, homelessness, suicide, politician, playwright. Can we go out tonight? We're locked down, ready or not. We're locked down, hold my cut. We're locked down, still what you told. We're locked down, not getting up. Locked down, locked down, locked down, locked down. Locked down.
Boom! Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. My name's Jade. This is How to App on iOS. That was Locked Out by Maffeys Garden. Hell yeah. How is everybody? Welcome to the most electrifying interview show on the internet. I just made that up. It's bullshit, but it sounded good at the time. Anyway, so we have a really awesome artist on today, somebody I've wanted to have on for a while. I've had his brother on, so I've had Daryn on the show, which is really cool. He makes awesome music as well. So we're going to talk about a bit about that too, about the brotherly love or brotherly hate that goes on between them. I'm interested to find out about that. What about you guys? So I came across Matthew where? I think it was either Create, Record, Release or it was on GarageBand Users, one of those groups on Facebook. I'd heard Daryn's music and then I heard this angsty, angry, not conspiracy, just I think politically motivated. I don't know what to call it. There's a lot of stuff in there that's really interesting. We'll dig into that. But hard rock, kind of Nirvana-y, just anger, just angst, man. And I was like, who is this person? And then I found out, oh my God, this is Daryn Anderson's brother. And for those of you who don't know, the word Maffey is a term of, it's a shortening of the name Matt or Matthew. Well, I had lots of friends at school named Maffy. And for people outside of Australia, they probably have no idea what the fuck that means, yeah? So I'll say hello to you all a little bit later on the show. We'll get into the interview as always, and then we'll do a roll call so you can all sit back and relax. But I think it is time, without further ado, to bring in the man of the moment, all the way from Queensland, Australia. Welcome to the show, Matt Anderson. What is going on, Matt? Yeah.
G'day, Jade. How you going?
Good, thank you. How are you? Yeah, I already asked you that. Man.
That's all right. I'm going good. It's a bit early for a day off, but happy days.
Yeah, because like for those of you who don't know, the time difference that happens, the daylight savings that happens for everybody in the world and all that jazz. In Queensland,
we don't. No,
you don't have it. Yeah,
we don't do daylight saving.
Yeah, we have it in Melbourne. You don't have it in Queensland. America does it like 3 weeks ago. London's doing it this week. We're going for, oh man, the world's a mess. Would you agree with that?
We keep it simple up here. There's no clock changing. It's
yeah, I agree with that. I've lived where you live. I lived there exactly in the town you lived for 1 year.
Well, you know what it's like.
Yeah, I lived in Harlexton. I need a sound effect. Wah, 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 wah. Awesome. So I'm stoked to have you on, man. I really dig your music. It's a real pleasure. I want to delve in. I'm really interested in a lot about how you write your stuff and all that. But first I'm going to hit you up with the question I hit everyone up with. Yep. What does music mean to you?
It's a release, I think. It's a release in when you're listening to other people's music, it's like it takes you out of where you are, you know what I mean? Like life's busy, everyone's got so much crap going on in their lives, you got this, that, and like to get home and just to like go down to the shed or whatever, crank the stereo up and have a few drinks, and I think it just takes you to another place, like just get you out of that headspace. And a similar thing for my music, for writing, it's like a therapy.
Yep.
But cheap, because it's getting it out of here, whether it's onto like something that I'm releasing, or whether it's just onto a book, whether it sees the light of day or not, but it gets out of here and it goes somewhere else. You know what I mean? Man, does that make any sense?
Yeah. Well, hang on a minute. What's that thing you're holding in your hand again? What is that called again?
That.
Yeah, that. Did you say
that's a book?
A book? Oh my God! For those of you who don't know what a book is, and I know there are some youngsters out there who have no idea. Do you write your lyrics into a book still?
Until really, really recently.
Right.
Probably my last 2 songs, I've used notes on my iPhone. But yeah, that'd be, and then even before that, when I'd come up with an idea, just a line, I'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds sweet, and I'd just put it in my notes, and then I'd get home and write it in my notebook. And
I love the idea of a book. I think writing lyrics into a book is utterly romantic, and it keeps alive the whole rock and roll thing. I've got a ton of books laying around.
I have too, and I used to have pieces of paper years ago. I sort of in betweens, which it doesn't really work because you lose them.
Yep. Yeah.
And I've had so many pieces of paper lying around and they're in boxes somewhere, whether they're in the shed or in the cupboard or somewhere else. And I like to have them and it's the yellow one, the green one. There's one, I can't move that one because my thing's sitting on it. It's like a time capsule too of where you were like then. Because I can go through these books and go, oh yeah, I remember where I was when I wrote that. I remember I remember what I was feeling. I remember who I was with. I remember the people around me. I remember it's it could have been 20 years ago, but it takes you back to that space.
Yeah, I've been carrying around a book like that for years. One of my first girlfriends wrote me this beautiful book when she dumped me, with all these beautiful affirmations in it and all this stuff where she wrote, you know, all this stuff. I think you're going to be an amazing person and one day, but here's a book. And then she left me. And I still carry it around because you know what? When I got the book, I remember going, you bitch. But now whenever I find it, I go, oh my God, she was right. I did turn out to be better than I was then. You know,
Yeah,
so she's had a bit of foresight.
It's probably good. It's probably good motivation for yourself too.
Well, I never opened it. I never opened it until recently, you know, the last few years.
Oh, right.
So,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I was so bitter for ages. I just thought, you fucking bitch. All right, so I'll ask you also, do you remember the music that was played in your household growing up, and has it influenced you?
I don't know that it's probably yes and no. I don't remember a lot of music played in the house when I was a kid. But what I do remember is we've got a lot of aunties and uncles. So like on weekends, like a lot of time, like we'd be at this one or they'd be at our house, and they'd be, you know, having barbecues and stuff, and you know all the blokes would be out around the barbecue, listening to, I think it was 4KQ or whatever it was back in the day.
Right.
And they'd have like a Saturday night 60s. And that's probably one of my, musically, that's probably one of my best memories as a kid, as a sort of little kid growing up, and all the dads going, oh yeah, no, that was fucking such and such, fucking 1969, fucking, you know. Then they were like, no, that was on my lady, that was fucking 66, that was. But Dad did have a fairly big record collection. Yeah, but I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of, like, there was music played in the house, of course, but it's nothing that sort of specifically ingrained into my head. Right. If you know what I mean.
Are there many musical people in your family? You know, you've got a lot of uncles and aunties and stuff. Are many of these people musical at all?
No, I don't think any of them are.
So it's only you and your bro?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm the only musical person in my family as well. Like all my cousins, all distant relatives, no one plays music. It's kind of freaky. It's like,
I think one of my cousins, Brad, I think he plays guitar, but I think that's it. I don't know. Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
But he's not good enough for you to mention it on guitar. Is that what you're saying? Sorry, Brad.
Yeah, sorry, Brad. He lives in Ipswich anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
There's probably going to be a lot of Aussie jokes here. People are going to be, what's an Ipswich? It's a bird, folks. All right. For those of you as Americans here, an Ipswich is a bird, and they fly down from the trees and they can take your eyeballs out. They're terrible.
Very dangerous. Yeah, you got to be careful.
The old Ipswich bird.
Be real careful.
So, do you recall your first album that you purchased, and so the first one you purchased and the first that was given to you as a gift?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
The first one that I got as a gift was Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. I think it was Off the Wall. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's
Wall?
it. Yeah.
But it was I got it for a birthday gift. But it was supposed to be the one with Bad on it.
Right.
So it was the wrong one. So, and I don't know if I ever listened to it. But the first one I bought was Slippery When Wet.
Slippery When Wet. All right. All right. There's a bit to unpack here. All right. So, did you learn the moonwalk?
No, I don't dance. That's ridiculous, Jade.
Come on, man. Even I learned the moonwalk, and I was a metalhead.
No.
You know, it worked. You used to get the birds. They weren't really good quality birds, but they're like Ipswich birds. We've set a precedent now for jokes.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all right. My mum's family's all from Ipswich, so I got a bit of Ipswichian in me, so I can pull the piss out of them. It's all good.
Awesome.
We've got free reign.
Very awesome. All right. So Bon Jovi was, and it was Slippery When Wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
And were you a big hair metal dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it would have been 86, 87, somewhere around there, I guess. 88 might have even been. Yeah.
Good guess.
Yeah, I didn't mind the old Bon Jovi and Poison. All them ones. We still listen to a bit of Bon Jovi these days. Not a lot. Doesn't get a massive spin, but actually my boys they're sort of just starting to get into a bit of Bon Jovi, and so they're the ones that are sort of playing it more now. And it's really cool because it's just like my oldest boy James. He'll come like a couple of months ago. He comes up because they're finding all these other bands and stuff, and he comes up to me and he's like, "Dad," I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Have you heard of Led Zeppelin?" "Yeah, bro." He's like, "They're pretty good, eh?" I'm like, "Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are pretty good." He's like, "What about Ozzy Osbourne?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." "What about Jimi Hendrix?" I'm like, Yeah, fucking I've heard of all of them, bro." He's like, "They're good, eh?" I'm like, "Yeah, they are good." And so, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's cool. It's good when youngsters get into that older music because, like, you know, hey, we all know it. That older music, if we didn't have it, you wouldn't have stuff like Bon Jovi. You wouldn't have Slayer. You wouldn't have Metallica. All this stuff.
That's right.
Even the brutal death metal stuff and all that. You know, it's all come from a place of the 70s. You know, it all came from Aussie. You know, Aussies. I watched some of Aussie's. Aussie's got a new TV series. Can you believe it? Another one.
Oh, is he still alive?
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. But I don't know, man. Like, he's gone. Like, he seriously can't play gigs anymore. He's so far gone. It's
right.
Like you thought he was gone in the old series, man. Now he's just away.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any footage or anything of him recently.
No, another planet. Totally. He was on Jupiter back then, but now he's far out. He's gone past the whole solar system. Way gone. There's no more.
Poor Aussie.
Yeah.
But good chains, like top chains, like.
What formats were those? Was that music on?
Oh, cassette tape.
Cassette.
I don't have it anymore. Uncle Daryl's probably got it. He's probably taxed it and got it in his cassette collection somewhere. I'm guessing. Ask him. Is he there? He should be there somewhere.
He's in there.
Have you got my Slippery When Wet cassette, Daryn?
Daryn, we want. Matt wants a Slippery When Wet cassette.
Not that I've got anything to play it on.
Yeah, can you convert it to MP3 and send it back to him? It's not like you just can't get it on Apple Music, mate. So do your kids listen to your music?
Yeah, sometimes it depends.
Right.
Because what I'll do, like when they do, like, because I've got my playlist, like Mafi playlist. So that's got like a lot of songs on it. From anything, proper songs. Then there's like I've got my own stuff on there as well. There's Hubs and a lot of other people from in here on there as well. And sometimes if we're in the car, sometimes they'll make me skip it. But a lot of times then I won't. I'm like, no, I'm giving myself a play here. Like, leave me. But then a lot of times I'll get sick of it because like when I'm writing a new song or I've written a new song. And I'm at the end of it and just trying to get it sound changing. You're listening to the same song over and over again. And because I don't have the best sort of studio equipment here, I'll get it to a stage and then I'll chuck it on SoundCloud. And then so I'll listen to it in my car on the way to work or wherever. So if they happen to be in the car with me, they get to listen to that same song over and over and over and over again. So sometimes a new song that hasn't hit the airwaves or anywhere yet, they've probably already heard that song or a version of it 8 million times. So by the time it's out, they're like, oh yeah, we've heard this song. I don't want to hear it again. But it is a good. I think it's a pretty good. Because I will ask, I'm like, what do you think of this one? And like James, my older boy, he likes most of it because he's pretty similar music to what I like. And Benny's pretty similar as well, but he's more honest. He's like, nah, don't like it, Dad.
James is in the chat, so hi, James. He's in the chat.
Okay. I think Benny was there. I did see Benny there.
And
before,
Darren's written a comment here saying, no, I have some Bon Jovi singles that could be yours. Mine now. I can just hear him saying that too. Because he's been on the show. I mean, he's a friend of the channel. But James says he's got all your stuff in a playlist, so he does listen to it. So that's
he listens to the same playlist. So.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Rock on, James.
It's a hard thing because, you know, when you're in a house and you're recording your home studio person, I always feel bad for the people I live with because, you know, especially when you're recording vocals and you're doing, lockdown and over and over and over. And they're in a room. They can't hear the music, man. They can just hear you going, lockdown over and over. And by the end, you think, they must want to strangle me.
They're my kids. It's my house. They don't really have a say in it, Jade.
No dinner for you.
Yeah.
All right. So, were you naturally drawn to music? Like when you were young, did you want to pick up a guitar? How long?
Not really.
No?
Always liked music. Always liked listening to music. It wasn't until Daryn started playing guitar. Like we moved around a bit when we were kids. So we sort of. I was born in Brisbane. We lived in Brisbane and Ipswich until I think I was about 13. And then we moved up to Emerald. And that's where, Daryn, he found a few mates up there who were already playing in a band and playing. And so he bought a guitar and I think he was playing bass in that band up there. So, so we were just living in a little 2-bedroom unit and we shared a bedroom, right. Of course, as you did. So when I'd be bugging him, I'm like, teach me how to play guitar. Teach me. And he's like, no. He's like, there's a guitar there, there's a book. That's how I learned it. No. So if he wasn't home and if he wasn't playing in the band or whatever he's doing and his guitar was there, I'd just sit down and have a bit of a. That's pretty much how it started. A bit of a. That's how I still play guitar.
Don't we all? That's now locked into my vocabulary. I'm stealing that one. Man, I used to play in a band called Durnt, and the reason we came up with those DURNT and we only came up with that name for the punchline that followed. And would say, I play in a band called Durnt, and they go, Durnt. What's that? And I go, like Durnt, 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 Durnt. It was a stupid name. It didn't work. But the joke, we all laughed our asses off over it. We thought it was hilarious. But, it failed miserably. You try these things. But it's going to replace Durnt for me. So.
I reckon that's cool.
So did you have lessons at school? Were you forced to play the recorder or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. Actually, clarinet.
Wow.
I remember the clarinet. And I only, because Benny, he's grade 6, 5 this year, and he's brought home a clarinet not that long ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, I played the clarinet, not for very long, but I remember doing that when I was didn't do that very good either. You
set yourself up for that. Well, that's in Queensland. You got a clarinet. We get a shitty recorder. So you're doing something.
Oh no, we had the recorders. We did have the recorders too.
Right.
But that was and that's pretty much about it. I didn't do any other. Never did music class or any of that sort of.
No school band or anything like that.
Nah. See, I was playing footy and doing all that sort of stuff as well. So that's like the music was sort of always like when I was at that sort of age, music was sort of a side thing. If you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I grew up getting forced to play footy by my dad as well because he's like, that music thing's crap. Play footy. He was like,
I wasn't forced to play footy. I like playing.
I was
footy.
good at it. I liked playing footy. I'm not saying, but my dad was like, do that instead of music. So I kind of say forced, but so I'm guessing it's NRL or league or union you're playing.
Yeah, league.
Yeah.
League, not rugby. Rugby league.
Not rugby.
NRL. Yeah.
So how long did you do that for?
Play footy?
Yeah.
Oh, probably from up till 19, 20. I think it's pretty much when I left school. Once I left school, I stopped playing because it was too hard. I went back and I had a run at reserve grade when I was like about 26 or something like that. But it was I was too fat and too slow and too unfit.
Yeah,
So
man. Once you get out of school, the pedal goes to the metal, and they want you to live, breathe, eat everything footy. It's a hard thing. I played, I think, till I was about 17.
Yeah, right.
And I remember my old man saying, I play music that's full of puffs. It's a gay thing. I don't know why you want to do it. And then one day I told my old man to come back into the club rooms to see what goes on in the club rooms. And he comes in, and one of our football players, one of our rovers, was in the change rooms trying to make one of the other players suck him off as a punishment. And I'm going to my dad, yeah, music's gay, isn't it? Yeah, mate. I'll never forget that day.
Oh, that's an AFL
It
thing.
is an AFL thing, man. Absolutely. It's an AFL thing. For the rest of you living outside Australia, I do apologise for this stuff today. It's going to be a lot. It's over your head. So, did you want to play in a band around this time? Did you play in a band?
I would have been playing in bands simultaneously. Like when we moved to Toowoomba. Because we were in Emerald for a couple of years, then we were in Rocky for a couple of years.
Yep.
And me and Daryn were playing in a band in Rocky. Dirty Habits, I think we called that.
Was that your first band name?
That would have been, yeah.
Dirty Habits.
Yeah.
I always reckon that first name is very telling of people.
So that was because he was in a band in Emerald, and then when we moved to Rocky, he didn't know anyone else, so all he had was me. So he had to utilise his little brother. So that was a 3-piece band in Rocky, and then same when we moved to Toowoomba. I would have been around about 16 then probably. So same, we had a 3-piece band here as well, just doing covers, and we'd do a few originals here and there. But yeah, we used to play around in pubs and stuff in Toowoomba for that would have been late 90s into early 2000s, I guess.
And did you guys release anything around that time?
No, we went and did into the studio and did 3 songs. They were 3 of Daryn's songs. See, we've never really ever written anything together.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I'm really interested in that.
Even in the band. So he wanted to record three of his songs. So we went to the studio and did 3 of his songs, and then but nothing really ever happened with that. That band's name was Glass.
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 What was behind that? The story behind that?
The name.
Yeah.
I think I come up with that. I think we were just sitting around having a few beers or whatever and trying to figure out a band name, and there was a glass on the table, and I'm like, what about Glass? And they're like, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, right, eh?
They're the best band.
And we've talked recently about doing a song together, like having a bit of a project going, and we'd come up with a name. That's about it so far. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, of course I do. I want the
Reject Motor is our band name, is our new band name. That's all we've got so far.
The Reject Motor. All right, what's the meaning behind it?
Nothing. There's no meaning. It's just
Look, they're the
reject motor.
They're the best names.
Just sounded cool.
Yeah. I played in a band for a bunch of years called Spoon, and it was exactly the same thing. We just
That's like class.
Spoon, yeah. It just doesn't have to have a meaning, you know. It was all about the music. That was the point. You know, you want people to focus on the music, not the name.
Yeah, and actually, that song of mine, Agendas Offenders, that was actually going to be the first collab between us, because most of my stuff's drop D,
Right.
and that one's just a normal open E, and I come up with that riff, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I like that. So I said to Daryn, I said, I've got this riff. I had the riff. I had a couple of riffs, and I said, we'll do this one. And he's like, yeah, sweet. But then I think it's just the time difference, and he couldn't open something up, and then rah, and I ended up doing more. I said, well, I got some lyrics. I'm going to add some lyrics to it. And then I think as time went on, I'm like, oh sorry, dude. I think I'm nearly finished this song. It's not really much of a collab. Sorry, dude. Sorry, Daryn.
Well, interesting that, because I'm about to play that song next. So,
cool.
So, why don't you tell us what this is about, and how you kind of know it started out as a collab. Let us know what it's about, and then we'll jump into it, and then we'll come back and say hello to everyone here.
Yeah, it's about corruption. It's about a lot of different things, really. I'm just trying to remember how it all goes, because it's been that long. It's just about the society that we live in, and it's I don't know. Maybe we should listen to it, and then I'll talk about
Sure.
it. How about that?
Let's do that. Let's absolutely do that. All right, guys. Grab yourself a drink.
Remember.
Grab yourself a smoke, a smoke and a pancake, whatever it is that floats your boat. And we're going to play Agenda Offenders. You ready to rock? Property carry-ups. Yeah, the clipboard's in this, isn't it? I think so.
No,
that was in the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's go. Agenda Offenders. Boom. Let me do all the right things here, and we're off.
Offenders apparently are later political donations. Now you get a sweet job. Don't forget where it all comes from. One day we'll get it all back. Can't you say the lays falling off the trays? Can't you feel the praise blowing out your knees? Really know I hate yous, wish I'd never made yous. Kind of unavoidable in this day and age. It's this side and that side all the goddamn time now. Now we just be normal for a little while now. Normal everyday people struggling to survive, getting punished, getting fined for walking out of line. Don't forget where it all comes from. One day we'll get it all back. Cows are sitting down, hours run out, time goes in and out. There's something about the drought. Really know I hate you, we should never make just kind of unavoidable in this day and ages. This side and that side, all the goddamn time now. Now we just be normal for a little while now. majors, kind of unavoidable in this day and ages. This side and that side all the goddamn time now. Can't we just be normal for a little while now? Can't you say late, falling off train? Can't you feel great? Blowing out your face. Can't you say late, falling off train? Can't you feel great? Blowing out your face.
Agenda offenders, Maffeys Garden, right there. Welcome back, everybody. And let me just bring Matt back in right now. Oh, there he is. Hello.
It's all coming back to me now, Jade.
Did going for a leak help? Is that where you went?
Yeah.
The toilet
Yeah,
does
it
that, man.
It always helps. No, that song is about, obviously it's a little bit political. But yeah, it's about corruption. It's about people too, like this side and that side, all the goddamn time now. Can't we just be normal for a little while now?
Yep.
And I think like a lot of my stuff sort of gets into a little bit of that area where I think like people get put into boxes, or people go, oh, I'm on the left, or I'm on the right, I'm fucking, rah, all that stuff. And I think, like, we're not playing footy here. Like, we don't really need a team.
Yeah.
Like, you can like something from here, you can like something from there. You don't have to be on whatever team. I don't like any of them. I think they're all, and that's where I go into, what was I say, something about I hate them. Yeah, wishing I never majors. And I think, and that's what we have. We've set ourselves up, and not us right now, but just we've let the political systems get to where they are now. And it's not just political, it's corporations as well, where they're
Absolutely.
this massive thing and we sort of can't do a real lot about it.
Yeah.
Well, we can, but it needs lots and lots of people to stand up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no doubt the system needs to be changed. I mean, we've turned political parties into sport teams. I noticed that when I lived in America for 2 years. I lived there between 2017 to 2000. Is that right? 2016 to 2018. And man, the way people cheer on their political team, it's like I found it. There were more people cheering for political teams than when I went to see an actual a football game. The cheering, I was just so confused. You don't need.
And that's sort of starting to happen here too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
we follow what they do over there, and I don't like it.
Well, I think we're going to talk more about that soon. I'm going to say hello to folks here in the chat. So, folks, if you want me to call your name, you know what the best thing to do is? Get active and type something now to save me scrolling up, and we'll do it. I can see Aaliyah Maniac. I can see Aaliyah Manic. I've got to get used to that name. James is here. Kim Hutton Hudson, Gary Hubbs, Dominic Torregrosso, Hurricane Moon, Ed B, Metal Black Covers, Lure Reality, Thomas Christ, SM Borthwick, Dan Eckberg. Who else is here? Type something now and I'll call your name, folks. Patrick Chandler, hello to you. Laurie's Mishmosh. James says, do me. No. Tremor Bear is here as well. Peter Byrne, I know Daryn Anderson is here. Marquee FX, JDL, Russ8889, Dave Fox. There's so many. I think there's a whole bunch of people from around where you live too, and I can't remember their nicknames, but I did see them in here earlier. So yeah, if you're here as well, throw your name in and I will yell it out. I'm giving you a little bit more time, Ivan Ideas here as well. I can see I'm just scrolling through. Auntie G is here as well. There's so many people. Joe Glenn is present. Thank you all for being here. I can see there is roughly 31 of you here. So thank you for taking some time out of your day to spend with me and the incredible Matt Anderson, because he is incredible. He's an amazing artist. Lily Pillies is here as well. Hello to you. All right. So where was I up to here? Let's try and get some sense of organization. All right. So, I've wanted for ages. Barry Glenn's here as well too. So I've wanted for ages to see you and your brother do a collaboration. Seriously, I think I've been advocating it for ages. I said to Daryn when he was here, is it, I mean, you've mentioned there's a band name at least. Is the likelihood of it happening actually going to happen?
Yeah, I think it will. Like I think he's coming down tomorrow.
So tomorrow's coming down. You're going to have an album finished tomorrow.
Probably not. We'll probably talk about it and
have a few beers.
Yeah, I go, I should do this, should do that, and then probably. No, yeah. Look, I'm sure we'll get something together at some stage.
Awesome. Yeah.
Something will happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely hanging for it. I think it'll be an awesome collaboration because your styles are different. Like you've got that more alternative kind of grungy kind of sound, where Darren's got that real kind of glam rock, Poison, AC/DC kind of sound. I think the mesh of the two are going to be really awesome. There's so much there.
I agree. Yeah, I reckon it'd be sweet, really sweet.
Yeah, it's it definitely has to happen. So, as brothers, you mentioned you stealing his guitar when he wasn't around. Are your musical tastes similar? Like,
no, probably not. No, because we sort of, I guess in the middle it would be like with all like we listen to AC/DC and all that sort of stuff, and which Darren does too, obviously. But then I think when you go further out, like he's probably more, he'll be in more of the Bon Jovi, Poison, Warrant sort of areas where, and then I'll be sort of moving out the other way to like Soundgarden. Stone Temple Pilots, but I think we still, like, if we were having a barbecue or down in the shed playing pool or whatever, it wouldn't matter if we were listening to my music or his music. It'd still be no one would be going, oh, I hate this shit. It'd all be, you know what I mean? Like it'd be all, no one's putting on any Bieber or Britney Spears or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you want to listen to that, that's fine.
Just not in my fucking house.
Just not in my
It's all good. Just keep it the hell away from me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's right, exactly.
So where did the name Maffeys Garden come from?
Well, that was when I originally started my YouTube channel, it was just going to be a gardening, because at the time I was doing the lawn mowing gardening job as my business, and the YouTube channel was just something that I wanted to do for fun, and math. So and I was trying to figure out a name, and like my wife at the time, she used to call me Maffey just as a nickname, and so it just come up Maffeys Garden. So that's how that started, and that's how I actually found GarageBand, is because I got a new iPhone 8, which is probably the same phone that I got now, and I was just dicking around with it one day, and I was going through and I found this GarageBand app, and I'm like, what's that? So I opened it up and had a bit of a play around with it, and I did the first thing I did on there was there's a little intro that I used to do on my old gardening videos. It goes for about 15 seconds or whatever. And that's the first thing I recorded in GarageBand, which was just with all the GarageBand guitars and stuff like that. So, because I don't even think I had a guitar at that stage. Right. I had my acoustic guitar. I didn't have any electric guitars at all, because I hadn't played guitar for years and years and years. Because I had kids and mortgage and life, all that sort of stuff. And then, but now I'm back. I've got a few more guitars now. So it's good. It's happy days.
So would you say, and Darren's just put in the chat here, I've got mum and dad watching now. So hi, mum and dad. I'll try and curb my language going forward.
Hi, mum and dad. Yeah, I will too.
So coming across GarageBand, how much did that, how much did that impact you playing music? Because I know for a lot of us, not everyone can afford an iPhone, let alone a computer these days. iPhones almost, they cost more than computers these days. It's ridiculous. But yeah, they seem, GarageBand has seemed to give so many people a platform to make music with barely any gear. How much has GarageBand changed your life for making music?
Oh, huge. Yeah. Massive. Like, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if it wasn't for GarageBand. But the first 2 songs that I released were, they were recorded on my iPhone with the iPhone microphone. So I didn't have an interface or anything. So all the first 2 songs, all I had was my iPhone. And hang on, I'll just get it. This guitar here.
Yeah.
Which is it's just a little 3/4 kids electric guitar, which James got for Christmas one year. And it come with a little 10 watt amp, and my Boss distortion pedal.
How old school.
And that was it for that first 2 songs, and just straight in, just using the mic on the iPhone. So and it just went from there. It's changed my life, like musically wise. It's just, it's sweet. Like it's so easy to use, and I was actually trying, because that was, I don't know how many years ago. That was probably 4-ish years ago, I guess. 3, 4, probably about then. I can't remember. But I was telling Daryn, I was trying to get Daryn to use it, because he's using whatever software he was using. I'm like, dude, you got to give this GarageBand thing a go. And he's like, nah, I'm not using that shit. That's fucking, nah. But yeah, finally got him around. He's like, because he said to me one day, he's like, oh, I was looking at this Pete Johns dude, and he's, he said all the stuff you can do. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, dude, he's got a video about me, man. Like, there's a video on his channel. Like, dude, I've been telling you. And he's like, he's looking it up. And he's like, oh yeah, that one. I'll be right. Okay. So yeah, I got Daryn on board.
You'll take the win for that,
man. Yeah. But yeah, no, like it's cool. I love it. It's just so simple, so easy to use, but then there's other levels you can go to, of course. Like it's it's really, really cool. I wouldn't be recording music now if it wasn't for GarageBand.
Yeah, look, I think people get so tied up, and I'm probably guilty for causing this as well, in having all the gear to go with it, But I recorded a lot of my first stuff with GarageBand using the mic in GarageBand. It's actually a really good mic, and there's been heaps of songs of people from around this community. I've heard their songs, and they've said, "Oh yeah, I did all the vocals using the mic on the iPad." So it's a really common thing. It's more common than what people think, and. Sometimes Pete was talking about it today. There was we did a pre-recorded roundtable on Mobile Music Pros channel, and sometimes you got to take a step back and simplify everything. You can get tied up with all this gear, and what's the saying? All the gear, no idea. It's true. I can't tell you how many. I met this dude once in the US who was at a pub from this band. And somebody introduced me to him, and I swear I used to get sick of this. They introduced me as, this is Jade. Jade makes music using an iPad. Like it's some kind of disease. And
she's also from Harlexton.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? It's like saying, oh yeah, this is Jade, and she's a leper as well. Like, what the hell, man? But every single person would look at me and be like, and they'd roll their eyes like, you make music on an iPad. Like, what a loser. But nearly every person I see who does that, you hear their music and it sounds like they're recording in a dunny. So, for those of you outside of Australia, a dunny's a toilet. There you go. So we can educate you today. Look, it's fan, and I was going to say too, isn't Pete Johns like the gateway drug to GarageBand?
Yeah, he's awesome. He does, it's great. He does awesome stuff. I don't watch as much stuff now from anyone's shows. Just it's the time thing. But back in the day, like especially when I was first learning, I would have watched every Pete Johns thing ever made, and probably 4 times over. Yeah. Just to wrap my head around, and like because there's so many different things that you can do in there, and like some of it's not easy, and like there is obviously there's tricks and tips, and Pete Johns is he's the go-to, he's the guru.
Yeah, I think once you get past how to operate it, then it's just really understanding the basics of recording, which can be applied to any DAW. The tricks of like double tracking vocals, all these kind of things that you can do on anything, So somebody's written in the chat too. I think it was, who was it? I can't remember. I think it was Laurie's Mishmosh, who wanted me to bring up the Tash. So, right. And I saw somebody write Tom Selleck in the chat. So, see, the first one I brought up was actually David Boone, but minus Booney, mate. See,
mine's not as good as Booney's.
Booney's is pretty impressive, isn't it? Yeah,
it's pretty epic.
I can't even get out of this page now. Here we go. See if I can shrink it down. See, I did have David Boone here. There he is. For those of you outside of Australia, we can find we don't want an old photo. There's Booney. There's a young photo of Booney. Man, Booney had a Tash. He's still got a Tash. It's a brutal one.
Yeah, he the man.
He sure is. Merv Hughes had a pretty good one as well too.
Yeah, he did.
Can I find a picture of Merv Hughes? So, how do you go with a Tash? Because the thing is, beards are a really in thing in this world at the moment. There's the man. I'm
not a beard. Oh yeah. No.
Yeah, look at that thing. Handlebars from hell.
That's crazy.
Yes, but I think it's I watch a lot of wrestling, and I love when wrestlers come out, because everybody's got a beard in wrestling these days. And I love when a wrestler comes out with a Tash, because it makes them stand out. So
yeah, I'm not a beard guy. I do if I don't shave for a few days. I am, but yeah, I grew them Mo 2 years ago or whatever it was for Movember, and then I like it. I don't think I can get rid of it now, Jade.
No, I think it suits. Laurie's put in the chat here, porn stash. Yeah. So have you considered... No, I'm not going to go down that path. Your parents...
Remember mum and dad are watching.
Yeah, I know. I've got to be good. I'm gonna play another track, and then I want to get into talking about lyrical content, and let's talk about beliefs and all this kind of stuff, because I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So what am I going to play now? This will be perfect for that. Let's see what I can find here. I'm going to play, because this sums it up. I'm going to play That's Okay. This is the perfect track for exactly where we're going next. All right. Cool. So, folks, this is called That's Okay. And I'm sure you're going to love this, because none of us want to be placed in boxes unless you choose to. And that's up to you at the end of the day.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay. Exactly. So kick back, relax. This is That's Okay by Maffeys Garden, and we'll be back very, very shortly. Ooh, yeah. Oops. Play the right video, Jade.
Dead in the night I knew where there today. Dave, need a Jade. Dave, go away. Dave, another day. Didn't even know that you were that way. Just to say, that's okay. You didn't even look and say hooray. Not that hard, just to wait. Didn't even know that I had to say what I am, just to play. I didn't even know it wouldn't be the same if I said out the way. Dave, not today. Dave, need a Jade.
Hell yeah. Dave's a champion boxer, to be like Dave. Don't be a... Awesome stuff. Alrighty, let me just bring you back into the chat here, and there you go. Tell us a little bit about that track right there.
Don't be a. That's pretty much sums it up.
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, it's pretty much and it's like you said at the start. It's like everyone, you can be in a box if you want, but it's another like more segregation of society. Like where they're like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. I'm like, we don't all need labels. Like we can't we just be people? Like, and don't be a fuckwit. Basically, it's because Dave, just all you gotta do is wave. Just be nice, because the reason I wrote that bit in the Dave, lift your hand, just wave. Is I actually live down at Murphy's Creek, out of Toowoomba. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, just a small town. I don't know how many people live here, but there's a pub here, and there was a shop, but it's shut down now. So it's a small country town, and small country town. Everyone waves. Everyone knows each other. Everyone, even if you don't know, if there's a strange car that comes through town, people know that it's not a local, but you'll still wave. Yeah. And there was a couple of gay guys that used to live up the road, and they never used to wave. And I'm like, just they'd be standing out the front on the veranda, and you drive past, and nothing.
Probably petrified.
And not because I'm not they were gay guys, and that's okay. But yeah, just don't be. You can still be nice, and as well, if sometimes in this day and age, if you say anything, they go, "Oh, you're homophobic, you're fucking whatever," and I'm like, "No, he's a fuckwit. Just be nice. It's not that hard to be nice."
Yeah. Look, I've always said, and being a trans person myself, I struggle with some of the labels and stuff. Sure, I like to be addressed in my gender, all the right stuff. No matter, I think how we've got to this place where everyone's pronouns are so important, and it's because we live in a world where there are only two types of people, and it's not even male and female. It's you're an asshole or you're not. And unfortunately, because there's so many assholes, there's turned out to be this need for people desperately wanting who get crushed so easily. And I understand there are people out there, trans or whatever, whose feelings get crushed so easily because they've been marginalized so much, be it race, be it whatever. So I do understand why they cling on to it so much. And probably when I came out, I used to cling on to it a little bit. Back then when I came out, we didn't have like pronouns and stuff. They weren't important. It was, can I get through the whole day without getting my head kicked in? A totally different world, man. My survival was more important than my pronoun, you know? And these youngsters these days, I don't think they get that. They're like, you know, oh, but you know, I'm Z. And it's like, back in the day, I was like, I just need to get home alive. You know, chill your beans, man. So I see that. But at the same time, you know, it's a real balance, because you've got to try and cater, you know, you know, how I look at it with labels like, you know, he, she, Z, all these things, I just always try and ask people what their name is and then address them by their fucking name. If I don't know what their gender is, I just address them by their name, you know? It's easy.
Yeah. It's not that hard, is it?
No, it's not.
And like I said, it's not like just, don't get fucked with it. Just be nice, you know? Like, it's really not that hard. There's so many angry people in the world, and I don't know what, like, I don't know what they get out. Like, it makes no sense to me. But like, why people are so angry, and like, just be nice. Like, there's no smile. Just like, just there's so many angry people, and it's I don't know if they get enjoyment out of it or if they're just angry, or I don't know.
Do you think, like, you know, let's get a bit heavy. We don't get to do it on this show very much. Do you think it's because the powers that be want us to argue? They want us to be at each other's throats. Like, because during the inconvenience, this COVID thing, right, went down. I know that people have lots of beliefs on, you know, what's right or wrong with that. To me, I don't think governments are fucking organised enough to create a scam or anything like that. They can't even all they give a shit about is lining their pockets with money. They can't even organise fixing a road. But what they're really good at is turning us against each other. Because if we're fighting, then they can get away with shit.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Jade. Like, if we as people are all on the same side and all pointing in the same direction, they don't exist. You know, there's so much, people have so much power, and when people when everyone hates everyone, no one's getting together, no one's pointing in the same direction, and everyone's going here, there, everywhere. And I do. I agree. I think they do it on purpose. I think they want everyone to hate everyone. And so does the media. Like, it's good for news, isn't it? Like, all the hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's good for ratings, isn't it?
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, like, it's the corporations and the governments. They're one and the same. And don't forget the church is in there as well. They're the three big players. Yep. They're all got their hands in each other's pockets. They're all giving each other hand jobs. And, you know, they're keeping us angry and confused, and
poor.
And poor. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, the poorer you keep people, the more unsettling. I mean, you know, back in the day, everyone didn't seem so, like, I don't know if it's like the world we live in now, but everybody seems so anxious. Everybody's suffering from anxiety. And it's, you can say it's like, I don't know, the crap they put in plastic that we eat from, or any of this shit, or what they're putting in the water that's turning the frogs gay, or whatever you want to call it. But really, it really comes down to keeping people poor and keeping people like they feel helpless, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what the powers that be are good at. And, you know, and I'm going down this path because you seem to write a lot about this, yeah? This seems to be
look, it makes me angry, Jay. Like, it really does, what they do. Look, most people, honestly, I talk to a lot of normal working class people in my job, like what I do. And most people couldn't give a shit about most of the things that goes on in Parliament and everything. Yeah. Like, most people just want to put a roof over their head, pay for their, you know, put shirt on their back, food on the table, and want to get their electricity bill paid.
Yeah.
You know, most people could not give two fucks about all the crap that they go on about. Like, honestly, it's I think it's smoke screens. It's like and even things like councils. Like, this is
they're the worst.
I hate, like, all you need to do is empty my wheelie bin and fix the fucking road.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be involved in everything else. Like, get out of my life.
Dude, I've got a classic story about councils, right? I'll try and keep it as short as possible. I lived in this place here in Victoria called Ashburton, right? And the council wanted to rebrand the place. So they all got together and they must have come up with this idea. Hey, we'll create a character called Ashy for Ashburton. And it was a foot. It was an image of a foot. And then they printed up all these stickers and they stuck them all along the footpath and they stuck them on each shop window with writing on it in Sharpie saying, Ashy loves the fish and chips here. Ashy loves this carpet cleaning. And, right? This is a council, man. And I just have this image of these fuckwits sitting around with their ponytails or whatever going, I know, a foot named Ashy. That'll get people going. And these are the same people who, like, you know, restrict permits on building a fence like 2 centimeters away. You know, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like, just empty my wheelie bin. That's all I want to do.
Empty the bin and fuck off. Keep your nose out of my shit. Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I think, you know, obviously you hit the nail on the head. People need to come together and focus on the real issue that is these people only care about money and they are only lining their pockets and that is it. And we have the power to remove them. And once... You know, it's like once you realize that you have the power to change something or to take power away from something, that's when change happens, you know, when you actually understand how much power you have. It's like with anything, though, isn't it?
Well, we do everything, you know. Like, all we got to do is stop working for a week.
Man.
And what happens?
I've been saying
nothing happens, does it? Like, society doesn't exist.
Dude, I've been saying that for the longest time. I wanted to start a Facebook page where you just try and convince everybody in the world, as many as you can, just one day, the whole world doesn't go to work and shuts down the whole economy, and they are doomed. You know, and it's you know, you're never going to get the entire world to do it. But hey, don't we have that day where everybody turns off their electricity for an hour? And a lot of the world does it, so it's possible. I'd love to see that happen.
No, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg would let you have a Facebook page.
No.
That did that.
Although he is a robot, so you could probably sneak it past his algorithm.
Possibly. Give it a crack.
What do you think of Facebook? You use Facebook clearly to, like, push your music as well. Do you get in many fights with people for your beliefs and all that kind of stuff? Have you lost friends? No?
Not really, no. I get, like, because some people think, generally I don't really post too much stuff. Like, Twitter's the place to go, Jade.
I'm banned from Twitter, mate. I'm banned.
Oh, yeah.
I got a lifetime ban, yeah.
I generally don't post too much that sort of stuff in Facebook. But with the vaccines and stuff like that, I probably shouldn't say that word, should I?
No, you can say whatever you want here.
When I first did post something regarding them, first of all, like, people going, "Oh, you're crazy! What are you, crazy? You okay?" All that stuff. But I had so many people personal message me, who are of the same belief, but are too scared to say something in an open forum like that because they're going to get shut down. And I think that's one of the problems too. If you're not along the lines of popular culture, you can get shut down real easy. And I think people think different. People have different beliefs, and that's okay. Like, as long as you're not being a fuckwit or an asshole, like, people can think differently, and that's okay. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I generally don't do too much of that stuff in Facebook world, but for that reason, I've never been blocked, or I think I did get the you can't post that stuff or whatever a couple of times. But,
look, I've been banned.
I try and be as civilized as possible, if you know what I mean, Jade. Like,
totally.
Keep it in the boundaries.
I've been banned on Facebook for retaliating against somebody attacking me for being trans and saying it. Somebody actually said, posted something that said I was a worthless piece of crap who shouldn't be allowed to live. And I wrote back, get fucked. And, and I was the one who got banned for it. Who knows? I know, whatever. But look, I agree with you on this point. I think everybody should be able to have what they believe. I think when it gets shit is when it's like that whole thing with religion, when people are knocking on your door trying to force you to believe it. Like, like I have my belief systems. I try not to force them on anybody, And it's best to keep it, share it without, like, you can discuss it. And, we live in a world with ideas. If we didn't share ideas, we wouldn't never be where we are.
Discuss. It's something that doesn't happen. Discussions very rarely happen these days, though, Jade.
Totally.
It's like a lot of times you can't have an open, honest discussion because it either gets shut down or someone will get called a racist or a homophobe or a transphobe. Like, it's like there's not a lot of reasonable discussion these days, in my opinion. As you said, I think like everyone's open to whatever their beliefs are. It does, and that's fine. No one should be telling anyone how to live and what to do and all that sort of stuff. Like, I think it can be really shit.
Luckily, there's people like us and a lot of the people here in the chat today who create music, because we have the opportunity to create music and talk about these things and talk about so many things to take away some of that stress. So do you find this is the best place for you to talk about your beliefs and get this out and hopefully make some difference?
In my music, yes. Like that's where I'm trying to channel most of my outgoings, or out of here, even all the stuff that's in there. I find music, art's always it's a good expression, isn't it? And totally. Any form of art, but music for me, it's a good place to get that things out, and hopefully if it changes anything, one person, two people, if it gives someone some sort of hope, that's all good, isn't it? It can only be good.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Look, I love your sheer honesty with your music as well. And, I think we are in a great place. And, you think about back to the 70s when Woodstock happened and everybody was like, take drugs, drop out. Music was the thing that actually pretty much stopped the war going on and brought massive change. I wish there was more music like that back then. Right now, there's so much. What do you think about this? There's so much homogenized shit in the music industry, which everything has product placement and an Apple Mac in a video clip and all this, that there doesn't, it seems like mainstream music's been stifled, that there's no artists that are able to project that amount of change like in the 70s.
No, I agree. I think one of the things that, especially when it comes to punk music, when you got bands like Green Day and not that they're that punk, but these sort of bands, and Rage Against the Machine, what happened to you guys?
Totally.
You rage, I think they're raging with the machine now.
They are the machine.
And I think, and I guess that happens. I guess that's money, isn't it? Money talks, doesn't it? And they're locked in. And I know there is similar bands, there's similar punk, angry, who are angry now. And I think there should be more, especially but I know, what, as you were saying, with the mainstream, I think they're just following the narrative, aren't they? They don't want to, I guess they don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
Money, because it's going to be
money talks.
Probably not going to end well for them, I guess. They're going to get shunned, aren't they? They're going to get cancelled in our cancel culture that we have.
Man, cancel culture makes me laugh, because normally about two months later, everything's forgotten. People are goldfish, man. Cancel culture is pointless because, you can go and do something really dumb. Everyone dog piles on you, rips you down, you get cancelled, and then 2 months later, Dave Chappelle's got 5 new specials. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a Twitter thing. I hate Twitter, man. I got banned off Twitter because I wished COVID to get well for contracting Donald Trump. And that got me a lifetime ban. I can never go back to Twitter again.
Oh, really? Lifetime?
Lifetime. I've tried coming on with different nicknames. Within a minute, gone. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Once you get done on Twitter, you're done, man. It's over. And you know what? I feel happier not being on Twitter.
Do
It's
you?
such an angry place. Oh, man. And I used to go there for the fights. I was there for the fights, I have to admit.
Yeah. It's a wild world, the old Twitter.
It's bad.
No, I like it. It's, yeah.
Yeah, just don't wish COVID well when it catches Donald Trump again, man. It'll get you done.
Yeah, right.
That was the end for me. So I want to talk about your video clips, because you put a lot of work into your video clips, it looks like. Tell us the process of your video clips, how you come up with the ideas and stuff. I mean, you know, the That's Okay clip, well, I thought was really cool, you know, with the boxes and the background. What's your process for making videos?
The That's Okay one that took me ages, because I cut out, I had printed stencils and cut out every piece of paper and stuck the spray painted the labels on every box. So that was that took ages to do. Just the boxes took ages. But as far as processes go, like I've got the green screen in the back here, so everything just gets recorded. Everything just gets recorded in my studio room here. And for I don't really have any process of thinking things through. It just sort of, I'll come up with an idea and I'll go, hey, that's a good idea. The idea for this one came from, hang on a sec, I'm just going to grab something. I think I've got one in my cupboard.
Oh, he keeps it in his closet. It's coming out. It's coming out of the closet, folks. Awesome. Oh, man. Awesome.
That's an actual real box from a company. I was around at one of my customers' place. Yeah. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, oh, that's where we get out there, like bearing housings.
Oh,
it's a company in Spain or somewhere. And I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm like, have you got any of them boxes? And he's like, oh, I'll just go next. He's like, the people next door to us at my work, he's like, we get them from them. Just go and see them. So I went over and seen the Storm, and I'm like, dude, have you got any of them fag boxes? And he's like, yeah, I got heaps. He's like, they're good boxes, aren't they? And they are. They're really good boxes.
They're really
nice
strong, aren't they?
They're really strong. And I said, yeah, I don't want them for that. I want them for something else. So that's what gave me the idea for the boxes in that video. And I actually do use one of these in the video, but you'll see I've changed the F to a B. So it says bag.
Right.
And that's the one I go, oh, bag, throw it away. That was just a little joke for myself in that video, because I was aware that the original box said fag, and I'm saying fag because it's on here, not
absolutely. I think people get that. So what do you use to put your videos together? What software are you using to do it?
LumaFusion.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's
amazing, isn't it, LumaFusion?
Oh, it's really cool. And I've got, like, you did must have been last year sometime, you did I can't remember, I think it was for your FMC.
Oh, yeah.
Thing you were doing,
Matheist.
Yeah, and you're doing...
Matheist,
What's that?
Matheist.
Yeah, and you're doing a bit of tutorials on that word, on LumaFusion, yeah, and I was, learning a heap out of that. That was really, really cool.
I'm glad. Yeah, I learned a heap doing that, man. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Here am I sitting there going, oh, it's a tutorial. I'm going to teach you all how to do this. I was flying by the seat of my pants. You know, I'd never made a clip like that before. But it's
but it's really cool, because I think I'm getting better. I'm getting better with my lighting and like with the green screen and that sort of stuff. Which that's all a learning curve. And I don't really have any special lighting. I've just got I've got a couple of spotlights and like LED, just Bunnings lights and stuff like that, and I just set them up around that wherever I can. And sometimes if I'm doing it during the day, I'll open up the blind and get some nice light in from there. And it's just about trying to reduce them shadows and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, still a work in progress. though. Still trying to learn how to do all that stuff properly. But yeah, it's
Well, you're doing well because, I think one of the hardest things, and I think where people stuff up the most with doing video clips and using green screens is the lighting. So, I mean, you mentioned, lighting, you don't have much in lighting, but lighting is super important. And so for those of you, who are doing video clips with green screens, I do strongly suggest go and look up some YouTube videos on the importance of lighting. It will change everything you think about, everything you know, because it's just a few inches of moving your lighting and it changes the whole thing. I learned that the hard way, because if you record and your lighting is a bit piss poor in one area and then you get down to doing the editing and you can't fix that little corner of the screen, there's nothing you can do. It's fucked. And you learn for the next time, because it takes a lot to set that stuff up.
It does. And generally when I'm doing that, I'll pretty much just do 3 takes. I'll do one of me standing there playing guitar, one a bit closer, maybe of my face, and then one a bit closer of my guitar. And then I'll generally just cut them 3 up. Like it depends on the type of video I'm doing, but if it's just mainly of me standing there singing and doing that stuff, I'll take 3 different takes, and then I'll chop them up and get the best bits out of them for the video.
So you don't storyboard at all or anything like that?
Nah, what?
I've only done it once. I did it for the Maffeys thing, and I'm glad I did, because it did help. It actually did help.
I did a little bit for the That's Okay one, because I had to sort of get that timed. To go in with the song. So like I didn't really write anything down, but I guess I kind of storyboarded that one, because I needed to get the boxes in place up to a certain point, and then push them all the way. I did have, because I've got more boxes. I've still got all them boxes in the cupboard actually, and there was more than what I used, but I end up because I didn't have enough. It was going to go too long, so I end up not using a lot of the boxes.
Well, it's perfect as it is. Thank you very much. I have an idea for the kind super chat. That's very nice of you. You can super chat, folks. It always helps the channel, so thank you very much for that. I'm going to play another track, and then we'll get into the final batch of questions. And I am right in saying this. I am allowed to play the brand new track to close out the show.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So we got an exclusive today, folks. I'm super pumped to play the brand new track. So hang around till the end, because this track it's pumping, man. But we're gonna play another one. This is called The Boat Song. You want to tell us a little bit about The Boat Song? Is this about Manus Island?
No, it's not.
All right.
It's not. The Boat Song. If you fall off a boat, just float.
Man, you're such an Aussie, I swear to God.
We were actually down at Daryn's place. He lives in West End, down in Brizzy there, in a pretty sweet spot. And we were in his pool, just having a swim. That was me, my 2 boys, and Daryn were having a few beers, throwing tennis ball and doing classic catches, all that sort of stuff, And then my eldest boy James was on the, when you just lay back on the water and you float on the top.
Yeah.
And I said, if you fall off a boat, why don't you just float? Like if you're out in the middle of the ocean. But obviously, if you're in the middle of the Pacific and if your boat sinks, you're probably going to be freaking out a little bit, I imagine. You're probably not going to be that relaxed.
Just a bit.
And I actually said to James, he's like, oh, yeah, cool. And I said, oh, you can use that in one of your songs, James. And actually, that reminds me, he said to me before, when you mentioned musicians in the family, my son James, or both the boys come in here and jam, and he's actually got a couple of songs released. So he does the
really?
GarageBand stuff as well. So yeah, he should. James, put a link up.
Well,
in the chat there.
well, tell me what it is, and I'll what's the name I need to
James
look up?
James.
All right, cool. I'll look it up. I'll look it up after I play this track.
Moldy bread is he's got one. He's got moldy bread is the one he's got on Spotify, and then he's got there's another one in YouTube there somewhere. But because I said to him, I said you can use that line if you fall off a boat, just float. In one of your songs, he's like, yeah, right, cool. But then I come up with this riff, and I'm like, you fall off a boat. I'm like, yeah, no, that's. And I played the song to him. I remember when I was writing, and he's like, oh, you said I could use that line, Dad. I'm like, oh, I changed my mind.
Indian giver.
But I use it in the context of like when shit's going bad, and obviously if you're falling off a boat, you're probably in a pretty bad situation. But if you just relax, breathe, and everything's probably going to be okay, like just. So that's the context I end up using it in that song, because yeah, if you just take a step back when shit's going bad, assess the situation, just breathe.
Let's do it.
Okay.
This is the boat song. You ready, guys? We'll get it up here, and I will see you all in a few minutes, couple of minutes, 3 minutes actually. Let's do it. The boat song, Maffeys Garden. Boom. Fuck. Man, that guitar tone is absolutely balls to the wall. How do you get that freaking guitar tone?
Tonebridge.
There you go. Wow. Even I can't get a tone like that out of Tonebridge.
Actually, I had David Asher. He mixed and mastered.
There you go.
The green one, everything on the green one, and yeah, it's fat. It's good. But I use a I use a Nirvana tone on one side and a Guns N' Roses tone on the other side out of Tone Bridge, and I think it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. Tone Bridge is awesome, and I mean, amazingly, I don't know how it's still free. It's amazing.
It's sweet. I love it.
I've recently changed from Tone Bridge. I know Kev Hart has as well. We're both using Rhino now because oh man, Rhino's next level. It's incredible.
Is it?
Yeah, it's absolutely worth your time. I'm just bringing up your albums here because I want to ask about this now. Your albums are coloured. Let's bring up here. So, oops, wrong screen. So tell us about the colouring system of your albums. I find it interesting.
Well, originally it was like I come up with this idea 20 years ago because that was when we were in Glass Band. Because I said to Daryn, I said, when we'd never put any albums out. And I said, when we put albums out, we should just make them different colours. Like, don't call them anything, just call, this is the yellow one, this is the rah, rah, rah. He thought that was a stupid idea. So I'm like, oh, well. So then and I kind of forgot about it because the first two singles, I released 2 singles, obviously, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I was going to do that. So what my original plan was to write, because I got this is one of my books. So this is songs I've written over the last sort of couple of years, up to excluding the last probably 12, 18 months. So previous to that, it's probably about a 2-year span of my life where shit wasn't all going the best, but and I was going to do, I just thought I'd make this one the green one, all the songs out of this. And I thought I'll make this one the yellow one, all the songs out of this. It didn't really work out that way. So but that was sort of the basis behind it, was to whatever colour songbook I've got is to what I'm going to call my album. There wasn't any really massive thinking behind it, but it makes it really, really easy to design new album covers.
Yeah, so have you decided what colour's next?
Yeah, blue's next.
Blue, nice.
Yeah.
And see, I tried to do this whole colour thing with my my seasons for the show, and it was a really good idea until I started having to come up with different colours for each season, and then I remembered I'm colourblind. So it kind of sucks.
Oh well, you can't have it all.
I can't change it now. I just have to message someone and go, "Is that orange?" It's not oranges I have trouble with. It's browns, greens, and reds. They kind of get a bit confusing.
Yeah, right.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, no. So there's not really any great method behind the madness. It was just an idea, and I'm not going to do a white one or a black one, obviously.
Clearly. I'm trying to find your kids' music, but I can't find it on Apple Music.
He did say he did put a link up in.
Yeah, but links don't come through the chat because it's only moderators can do that.
Yeah, right.
So I was going to play something, but I don't actually know where to find it.
That's right.
So I'll have to, but maybe I'll put it up. Oops, I've got the wrong camera on. Maybe I'll put it up after the show. Maybe I'll find it, put a link in the description afterwards. So look for it there, folks. We'll get to it. It's a bit hard on the fly. So we'll cover this and then we'll play. Oh, moldy ass bread. That's a good idea. Let's do that. I'm sure we'll find that. Is it moldy ass bread? All right. I found it. Wow. Shall we play some? Let's do it. Let me add to my collection. I gotta say I've got it. So here we go. So here's James's music, and we'll hit play and we'll see what happens here. Let's go.
Went to the shop.
Yeah.
Shop to get some bread.
Yeah.
Bread to make a sandwich. And then I see the worst thing that happened to me. The Thanks a lot, Coles.
Oh man, that is awesome. Thanks a lot, Coles. For you, those of you who don't know, Coles is a supermarket here in Australia. Who knows? James will probably be on the show one day, being interviewed just like his dad. Awesome stuff, James. Well done. You rock, man. I've downloaded your music. You know what I'll do? Normally, when I have somebody on the show, what I normally do is because I don't pay people to come on, I'll normally just take their music.
What? Hey, what?
Hang on. I normally tell you this at the end. This is like a little secret. I normally don't tell people this, but I normally will put your music on rotate for about 48 hours and just play it. So next time you check DistroKid, there's like $1.80 waiting for you, right? But instead, for this, I hope this is okay. I'm going to put James's music on rotation for 48 hours after the show, so he can get all the profits. All right? And he can go and buy some better bread. There you go. Go to Woolies, man. It's better.
It's okay. It's all his money goes into my distro kit. So happy day.
Awesome. Sick. Oh, well, that was brilliant. All right, so we'll talk about some apps that you use. I'll bring up the App Store. Do you have maybe 5 apps that you can tell us that apps that they don't even have to be music that you use that make you happy? Make your life easier.
As it happened,
You got a list.
I wrote them on the back of a Coles docket.
And James has said Woolly sucks ass anyway. So.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I don't know, Aldi. What else, who else is there? Those two monopolise the supermarkets. All right, what are your apps, mate?
Don't get me started on that.
Oh, no, I know.
I'll just rattle these off. Tonebridge.
All right, let me bring it up.
LRC5.
Let me bring it up. I'll bring it up on the screen so people can see it. So there you go. That's Tonebridge. If you don't know what it is, it's free. It's a guitar simulator. Why do you love it?
Well, it's easy. You just search for whatever, and it's generally there.
Yeah.
Whatever tone you want. We were listening to, I can't even remember the name of the band now, but it was something random that came up in my Spotify, and the guitar solo, like the tone they had on the guitar solo was really, really, it was someone like the Meat Puppets or something like that, and the guitar tone was really, really sweet. And as I said to James, I said, remind me when we get home, I'll search that up on Tonebridge. And that's the guitar tone that I've used in my newest song. Searched it up and it was there. I'm like, it's sweet.
Yeah.
So as I said before, Tonebridge, I use a Nirvana on one side, a Guns N' Roses on the other side. And for my bass, I use an Alice in Chains tone.
Perfect tone, yeah. I've used that for a few too.
Yeah, right. And that's I've set them up, I don't know how many songs ago, and I like the song. And while I'm still doing the similar sort of songs, I just keep all them tones in there, and generally I'll just, when I start a new song, I'm basically just duplicating my previous project, clearing all the screens out except for the drums, and just start recording again.
Keep your tone, keep consistent. What else you got for us to look at?
LRC5.
LRC5. There it is. Free again.
Yep.
What about LRC5? It's an EQ app. What makes you happy with this one?
It's just that little old EQ. I'll use the GarageBand EQ and the LRC5 EQ on all my tracks. I like the GarageBand EQ as well, just because it's pretty minimalistic. With you can only got the 3 bits you can change. So I use that in combination with the LRC5. You just get, because you got the 5 bands there. It's I know there's an LRC7 as well, but that's might be a bit too advanced for me. and my simple
I
ways.
did a review of it. It was a disaster when I did it. It's one of the worst
really?
reviews I ever did. And then they updated it like a couple of days later and fixed all the problems. So I feel bad.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
bad that video's still up there, shit canning it. So
No, but I don't. Yeah, well, LRC5 is good. It's sweet. It's just
Yeah.
just gives you that little bit of extra EQ, and yeah, it works
free
well.
and easy. Anything else?
That's what we like. Final touch.
Final touch for mastering.
Yep.
Let's. I wrote Final Master. Great stuff there, Jade. Final touch. Here it is. I can't remember how much it is. I think it's like $20 Australian. I can't remember.
Something like that. Yeah.
My brain's not there. I do too many of these apps each day. But yeah, what is it about Final Touch that helps you master your tracks?
Probably everything.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
I don't know, because it's been so long since I've actually used. Because again, like I've set settings up in there and saved them. So I generally don't muck around with it too much these days. I'll just export something out into there, and I'll hit one of my save profiles, and like I might mess with it a little bit, but generally not too much. It just helps with sound, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Makes it.
yeah, I don't know all these things, Jade.
Well, if you don't know all these things, you're doing pretty good.
Okay, that sounds good. Oh, that sounds shit. Because I get in some of these Facebook pages, especially like with David Asher and them guys, and it's a whole nother world to me. I've got no idea what they're talking about.
Well, at the end of the day, man, it all comes down to, does it sound good?
Yeah.
Like you can sit there and, again, all the gear, no idea, all the knowledge, all something blowledge. I don't know. I can't think of a word that rhymes with it. But still, it comes down to, does it sound good or does it sound shit? And that's it. And if you, to your ears, you want to smash your own head against the wall to it, then it's going to make other people do it. So I think you can get lost in all that shit, you know. And once you fall down that rabbit hole, that's when things get put back and delayed, and then you overthink things, and then you don't release stuff, and you end up with a bunch of projects that you don't finish. So that's always, if it sounds good, fucking do it.
I'm still fine tuning my things. Like I don't think I'm right. Like there's still things that I think can just change a little bit, but yeah, I think it's getting better. And yeah, like I said, with that final touch, I've got my settings sort of set how I like them. And but yeah, we muck around with it every now and again.
I love muck around. There's people going, what's muck around mean? What else have you got for us to look at?
Lursen is the next one.
Lursens.
Which is probably the most expensive thing I've ever bought.
Yeah. I use it every week on my Patreon to master stuff. It's so easy and it's good.
Oh, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It really is worth it. I like it.
Yeah, if you don't know anything about mastering, you don't need to know anything, because they have gone to the years and years of experience to create this exact replica of this huge mastering console, and you just bung in the song, pick a preset, hit go, and it just sounds incredible.
Yeah,
it's that
sweet.
easy.
Now sometimes I'll even run it through that twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and sometimes I'll mix it up. Like sometimes I'll run it through Lursen first, and then I'll put it through Final Touch.
Yep.
And then maybe back through Lursen, just to create different. And it does make it different. So but I think that depends on the song and all that as well. But yeah.
Cool. You got one more for us, or is that it?
We've already spoken about it, but yeah, LumaFusion.
LumaFusion. Why should people invest in LumaFusion, in your opinion?
Oh, it's sweet. It's really good to use. Like you can use iMovie, I do use iMovie as well for simple stuff. Little if you want to do a quick little video or something, iMovie's awesome. But LumaFusion, like there's so many options in there. With green screens and colors, and there's like, I'm only touching the absolute surface of LumaFusion. But yeah, it's similar to GarageBand in a way. Like it's really easy to use. If you watch a couple of Jade's how-tos, you'll figure out it's pretty easy to use.
Fingers crossed.
It probably wasn't actually to start with. It was probably a bit tricky. Like when I first opened it up, I really had no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you work your way around it, it's it's a really cool app for making videos.
Yeah, and I think you know, a lot of things, if you're unfamiliar with them and you open up for the first time, they can look confusing. And the thing is, like we talked about with giving governments power, if you continue to believe in your mind, this looks too hard for me, this looks too hard for me, you know what? It's going to fucking be hard. But I think if you set your mind to, well, I can learn how to do this, I can give this a go, and you just jump in, you will find that you will pick it up. And you know, it's like Pantene. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen. I don't know. I've never used that crap, but apparently that's how it works.
Not rocket science, Jay.
Yeah, exactly.
Or there might be rocket science in making the app. I don't know.
There could be.
Probably.
Well, you know, I always say we hold these devices in our hands, and I think we even take these for granted. If you think back to when they first put man on the moon, or you know, flew people out of space. Yeah. The computers they were using, a quarter of this in our pocket, you know.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely crazy.
Well,
but
yes,
I am very grateful that we didn't have these things when I was a kid.
Oh, totally. Yeah, we'd be different people.
Especially when I was a teenager.
You think you'd be in a lot more trouble than what you got in?
Yes. Without a doubt.
Absolutely. The trouble we got in as youngsters compared to what kids can get into now, they don't even have to leave their room to get in a world of pain.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel sorry for them. I really do.
Yeah. Look, it's great to have the technology to create things with. That's, you know, it's funny. You see people, the consumer world of iOS and Apple and all that stuff. And clearly, you know, there's this market of people who just buy it and still go, I've got an iPhone, all I do is send texts. And you think, man, you're so underutilizing this thing. And same, like when you're on a train and you look at people just staring at their phone and this is all they're doing. Flip. Just pushing Facebook feeds. And you think, there's so much more you can be doing with that goddamn piece of equipment.
Yeah.
But then, hey, if everybody was creating music and creating things, who would have time to listen to it? So we wouldn't have an audience. Right. Everybody would be a self-important musician desperately trying to force their music down each other's neck. So we are at the end of the show. I want to. I've got one more question.
Already?
I know it's been 2 hours, man. It does go fast when you're doing it. Like for us, I always feel. I do have one final question, but I'll hit you up in a second for that. I want to firstly thank you for coming on. Thank you for, you know, spending some time, you know, putting time aside to come on and being candid, talking about your opinions and all that kind of stuff, because, you know, it takes a lot to speak out these days. I know I try and be as honest as I can on this channel, and sometimes people are going to disagree with me and hate me, and that's all good too. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, Jade. Like, I appreciate the opportunity to come on. It's awesome. I love your show, especially these shows. Like they're really sweet show. And I know I said to you ages ago, I think you should do this one as a podcast as well.
I'd love to, man.
Just because it'd be something that I would listen to, like when I'm driving in my car or doing whatever. Like, because you don't always need the visuals.
Yeah.
On this, like visuals are good. Like it's good to watch the video. But yeah, it's something that I could listen to. Just listen, you know.
The problem is, mate, there's just not enough hours in the day. I'm already so. I mean, last night I nearly had a nervous breakdown. I won't go into that. I lost the plot last night. I burst into tears.
No.
Just this whole YouTube thing's very consuming, and it's starting to really. I'm realizing it. If I had an extra 5 hours a day. I think the other way around it is to just get a premium YouTube account. Then you can just listen to the sounds. So that's all I've actually got the podcast page set up, but just haven't been able to do it. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, right.
All right. So I'll hit you up.
No pressure, Jade.
No, it's not.
Just
It's all right. I'm learning to say no anyway. So,
Good.
I want to hit you up with the final question I ask everybody. It's not a trick question. It's very simple. If somebody was considering becoming creative, Matt, when would you suggest them doing so?
Now.
Well, as usual, that question's the easiest question on the planet. I just put it in there to reinforce. Do it.
Yeah, do it now.
Absolutely. And you're doing it now, and it's awesome, and I'm so glad you're doing it. I love your music. I'm so thankful that you could come on today. We could get to know you a little bit better. Folks, all the links to Matt's stuff is in the description. YouTube channel, Instagram, all that stuff. It's all there, so make sure you go and click all the things. Go listen to his music. Go give him some streams and all that stuff. Show him some love. Subscribe to his channel. All that funky jazz. And we are going to go out today with a premiere, so hopefully you've stuck around for this because I'm excited. I've been sitting on this for a couple of weeks, I think. I've had this unlisted video, which is probably going to be... Are you going to list this after this show, or...
Yeah, I will.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Stay at Home Stupid.
I think the song's pretty self-explanatory when you get into it. But for those that don't know, at the start, the dude at the start is our Prime Minister.
Mm-hmm.
So the song's about just let us do what we want. Like, we're big. We can. Let me go to work. Let me go. It's. But the video it's sort of about the hypocrisy of what we got to live in. Like once you see the video, the dude at the start, he's our Prime Minister. He's the guy running our country.
He's a knob.
So it's and at the end, it's I don't know who she is. There was a Queensland chief health officer doing the same thing, but I couldn't find the video of that, so I had to whoever she is. That was a similar thing, but it's just get off our back, leave us alone.
Yeah. Go and hang out with your mate at Hillsong, you weirdo. I'm not even going to go there, man.
He hasn't been there for 15 years.
Oh, yeah. Them and all their kids, all their dancing kids. Man, there's something about a church that specifically aims their music at children. I don't know. It's like pedophiles to me.
Nothing sussy.
No, nothing at all.
Nothing to see. Keep moving along.
And the Prime Minister loves it. Alrighty. So this is Stay at Home Stupid, isn't it? It is an exclusive. Once again, thank you, Matt, for coming on, and everybody for being here. You guys rock. Thanks for hanging out the whole time. I'm off tomorrow. Don't have a show, but I will be back in a day's time with the opening hour doing a bunch of cool covers and stuff like that. So join me for that. And anything else you want to say before I let you go? The floor's yours.
No. Thanks, everyone, for joining in the chat. I haven't really been watching the chat, but thanks for coming along. It's been a pleasure, Jade.
Pleasure as always. Alrighty, guys. This is Stay at Home Stupid, exclusive by Maffeys Garden. Rock on. Stay on the line, Matt, and I'll say goodbye to you once this is all done. Alrighty.
Yeah,
let's get this bitch going. Boom. You ready? You ready to rock? I am. See you later, guys.
I've done this before. Oh, yeah. Up in the Hunter and... Yep. It's here? Yeah.
Today, start working on not touching your face, because one main way viruses spread is when you touch your own mouth, nose, or eyes, and to understand who she might have exposed while contagious.